Okay, guys, today we'll be doing responsive websites. Now, what does it mean to say a website is responsive? A website is responsive when it can conform to any device, when it can adjust itself to fit into any device. That's what makes it responsive. Now, let us do something. Let's start. Let's put it into practical. Let's see how it works. So I'll call this responsive web page. So we'll have responsive web page as our title. I'll create a div. Then inside this div, we'll have 6 other divs inside it. So I'll just name them this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have 6 of them here, 6 divs. So I'll give this first div a class name. I always like giving the first div a name of container. So our HTML is ready. So I'll also use internal CSS to add styling. So first of all, I want to style the container. I'll say dot con like this. We'll give it a border first of all. Say border. So the next thing we'll add there is giving it a height. I'll give it a height of let's say 500 pixels. I'll also give it a width of 100%. So we have this. This is what it looks like now. So the next thing we are going to do is to also style what the divs inside, all these children div here. So what are we going to do? We'll say dot container space that div. So all the children, all the descendants that are divs, we want to also give them border 1 pixel solid. So we want to also give them height. Give them a height of let's say 200 pixels, or let's say 200 is much. Let's give them a height of 100 pixels. Then we'll also give them a width of, let's just say 50 pixels. 50 pixels, something like this. So at least at this point we can see that our boxes are, the children divs are overflowing the parent div. So we are going to handle that. But before then, let's also add margin to these children elements here, the children divs. So add margin. We say, let's just give it 10 pixels. So it will have a general margin of 10 pixels. Okay. So we want the write-ups, like all these numbers, the number inside it, to also be bigger than that. We'll say font size. I will say, let me say 31 pixels. So it's bigger now. I also want the numbers to be at the center. So I'll come here and I'll say use is flex, display flex. Remember, these numbers are children to these divs, right? So we can put if we want to do something to the numbers inside these divs, we can make these divs here the parent element, right? And remember, we add flex properties, flex container properties to the parent element, especially when we want something to happen to the child element. So here I'll say display flex. I'll say display flex. Then if you followed our flex video, the next thing we can do, we can say justify content center. I also say align item center. So we have handled that situation. So the next thing to do now is making the main container so that we want these divs, all these children elements of this particular container, we want them to float side by side. So the simple thing we can do is to come to the container and say display flex. So we have them on the same line, so in a row form now. So this, I think we have handled that. Then the next thing we should do now is we want it to, the width is a little bit small, so let's give them at least 100 pixels of width. Yeah, this is better now. So we have 6 different children divs inside this main element, this main div, which is the container div. Now the next thing we will do here is I'll just want to add a background color, and I'll make it blue. So we have blue background color because what we are trying to code here is the responsiveness of a website. If we expand this page, if we expand this our browser, this is how it looks. This is how it looks on a large screen, because this is a large screen. So, and this is how it looks on a smaller screen. Now, I don't want it to continue to be in the raw form when it is in a smaller screen. It's okay while it is in a large screen, everything should be in the raw form, but I want it, by the time I start reducing this web page, I want it to wrap, you know, for some of them to go down so that there will be enough space. Let me show you what I mean. Let me inspect this page now. You see, this is what it looks now on a smaller screen. Look. So it is not responsive at all. It is not responsive. It is not responsive. So I want it to be in a situation whereby when our screen is smaller, it will wrap. So how do we achieve that? Let's go back to our code. So that's where media query comes in, because we want to use media query to make this our div items to wrap whenever we're in a particular screen size. So the next thing we'll do is we'll say media query. Please, this is very important. Say media, say at media and screen, or at media screen, and you now add our condition at media screen. And now the condition we will have here is what size of screen do we want to do something to. So we want it when the maximum width is, let's get our maximum width that we want to do something, we want to add the media query to. So let's see here, this where we can see the width here on this particular box here. So this is the width. You can change it, you can increase the width size and all that. So for now, this is a large screen, 2535 pixel. So this is a very large screen. So now we want to reduce this screen. Now while I'm reducing, so this is what it is. I just increased the zoom here. So on a large screen, this is what we have. Let me reduce it and see. So you see, it is just shrinking. This is not responsive. And we want it to be that whenever we get to a screen size of, immediately we get to the screen size of 718, when the maximum width is 700, and that is this mobile view, as you can see here, 718. We want the items here to wrap. So let's do that. So I'll come here, I'll say at media screen, and the condition when the width is what, 718, right? 718 pixel. 718 pixel like this. Then we'll open our bracket again, our curly bracket again. Now, if you check here, we'll call, because since we want something to, what we are coding, we want it to affect, we want what we are coding to affect the items. We have to put our flex property on the container, right? So I'll just copy this container, come down here, and still call it as if I'm calling it again on CSS. Right? Now I'm saying on this container, whenever the width of this screen is, the maximum width is 718 pixels, I will say display flex, because we want to add flex property. Then I also say flex. Remember, if we want something to wrap, we say flex wrap, right? So you see, it has automatically wrapped because this screen size is already less less than 718. So let us see. Let us inspect the page again. You see, now increase this. It is normal. So you're looking at this place where the sizes are. While I reduce the size, immediately it got to 718. The first one wrapped. As I continue going down, it wrapped. It will continue to wrap, until everything is now in one screen. So no matter how small your screen is, this thing will still be responsive. Now, as you can see, it's like it's still overflowing. How do we solve that? We just give our container, instead of 500 pixels, we say the minimum height it can be should be 500 pixels. So it has covered that place. So as you can see, if I expand this now, so this particular item we have added here now is very responsive.